So imagine waking up on a Monday morning, right?
Hmm.
You're pouring your coffee, you pull up your division's output from the weekend, except your actual human team was completely offline. Only one, I guess you'd call it an employee, was active.
Right, the AI agent.
Exactly. And between Friday evening and Monday morning, this agent processed like thousands of scattered data points. It generated a whole month's worth of predictive forecasting reports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it even optimized your entire global supply chain logistics, to account for this sudden, unexpected spike in regional shipping costs. And it executed the bulk of this complex modeling at like 3:14 a.m.
While everyone else was sleeping.
while everyone was sleeping. It didn't bill your department for overtime. It didn't get tired. And mathematically speaking, the output is practically flawless.
It's wild to think about.
It is. You are now competing against a tireless worker. Okay, let's unpack this. Because if you're a human manager dealing with, personal obligations, physical exhaustion, and a calendar just choked with unnecessary alignment meetings.
Which we all have.
Right. The raw efficiency of a machine operating in parallel 24 hours a day feels structurally impossible to match.
It really does.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this massive stack of 2025 and 2026 organizational reports that look squarely at this reality. Our mission here is to move past the initial hype of generative AI and look at the hard, verified data of this productivity revolution and figure out how you can adapt.
Yeah, and I think we need to establish right away that this 3.0 AM scenario, it isn't some speculative sci-fi future.
Right.
It's actively documented in the workplace data sets we're looking at today. But if you're listening to this and feeling a sense of, existential dread about competing with that autonomous agent, we have to correct a fundamental misunderstanding.
Which is what?
Well, the data heavily points away from pure automation, where you, the human, are just entirely removed from the workflow.
Okay.
Instead, it points toward intense augmentation. The agent handles the relentless high-volume parallel processing, sure, but it's entirely rudderless without a human operator setting the strategic parameters.
Oh, interesting. So it still needs us.
Exactly. The metric for success in this new landscape isn't, outworking the machine on raw output. It's your capacity to orchestrate it.
That distinction between automation and augmentation,
Yeah.
That changes the entire baseline of how we evaluate the threat here.
It really does.
If the focus is on supercharging human capacity rather than replacing it, we really need to look at the actual 2025 and 2026 data. Because, we've heard promises of revolutionary efficiency before.
Oh, definitely. Remember Web 3.
Oh, man, don't remind me. But yeah, I want to look at the St. Louis Fed and McKinsey findings.
Mm-hmm.
What are the actual telemetry and productivity metrics telling us about human-AI collaboration right now?
So the measurable impact is highly significant, but it's nuanced. When researchers looked at the telemetry data of software developers, data analysts, knowledge workers,
Like tracking their actual keystrokes and stuff.
yeah, keystrokes, time in app, output volume, all of it, they found that frequent users of AI agents are saving roughly 5 to 6% of their weekly hours.
Wait, 5 to 6%?
Yeah.
In a standard 40-hour week, that's about 2, maybe 2.5 hours.
Right.
On an individual level, getting 2 hours back feels like, a nice Friday afternoon off. But it doesn't exactly sound like a global paradigm shift.
I get that, yeah.
Yet, the McKinsey report projects that generative AI could add between $2.6 to $4.4 trillion annually to the global economy.
Which is a massive number.
It's huge. And we've heard these trillion-dollar macroeconomic projections before with the metaverse.
Yeah.
And they usually just, evaporate on contact with reality.
Fair point.
How is McKinsey actually building that calculation based on just 2 hours of save time a week?
Well, it's a bottom-up calculation, right? It relies heavily on scale and wage premiums.
Okay, break that down for me.
So you take that 5 to 6% time savings and aggregate it across the entire knowledge economy. That translates to roughly a 1 to 1.5% aggregate productivity increase globally.
Okay, 1.5%. Still doesn't sound like trillions.
Right, but McKinsey arrives at the multi-trillion-dollar figure by multiplying those saved hours by the specific hourly value of highly cognitive fields.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so when a senior corporate lawyer or like a lead software engineer saves 2 hours of menial data synthesis and they redirect that exact same time into high-leverage billable strategy.
The value jumps.
Exactly. The economic value generated doesn't just scale linearly, it scales exponentially.
That makes sense, assuming the quality of the work remains constant or, improves when it's redirected.
Which it often does.
Well, let's look at the field experiments on human AI marketing teams. The data shows workers equipped with AI generated 50 to 60% more output.
That's a huge bump.
Specifically, it was 50% more ad campaigns created per worker. But the report claims the text quality was evaluated as being fundamentally better, too.
Yes.
If workers are generating that much more volume, how is the AI actually improving the quality? Like, is the agent generating brilliant creative concepts, or is it just a really fast copy editor?
It's more that it operates as an iterative engine. The AI isn't necessarily having a singular brilliant epiphany, right?
Right.
What it does is run thousands of multivariate combinations of phrasing and structure in seconds.
Giving you tons of options.
Exactly. The human acts as the strategic and emotional filter. The AI generates a massive volume of options, and the human rapidly curates, say, the top 3 based on emotional resonance.
And then tweaks them.
Yeah, they prompt the AI to refine those specific angles. So the quality goes up because the human is no longer exhausted by the blank page.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
They're operating strictly as an executive editor, just choosing the most impactful iterations from a ridiculously wide sample size.
If productivity is exploding this much, who exactly is getting the biggest boost? Is it the tech geniuses?
Actually, no. The St. Louis Fed data on this is solely counterintuitive. This technology acts as a massive equalizer.
Really?
Yeah, the less experienced workers gain the absolute most. They absorb that baseline competence instantly. But the highly experienced experts, the veterans, they often see drastically less benefit. In several of the measured studies, the experts actually slowed down or saw a degradation in their performance when forced to use AI.
Wait, they slowed down? Why? I mean, I guess because the expert already possesses deeply ingrained tacit knowledge.
Precisely.
A novice doesn't know what they don't know, so they just accept the AI's output at face value and move incredibly fast.
Yeah, they just run with it.
But a veteran has a highly developed internal framework. I'm assuming they're just second-guessing the AI constantly.
That's exactly it.
They're essentially arguing with the GPS at every single turn, getting tangled up in reverse engineering the AI's logic rather than just letting it drive the car.
Yeah, that cognitive friction is exactly what the data reveals. Experts suffer from what's called cognitive entrenchment.
Cognitive entrenchment.
Yeah. When the AI produces an analysis that even slightly deviates from their established intuition, they spend way more time auditing and correcting the machine than it would have taken them to just do the work manually from scratch.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. But while arguing with the GPS slows the expert down, blindly following it, which the novices tend to do, is incredibly dangerous.
Because sometimes the GPS tells you to turn left onto train tracks?
Exactly. It'll occasionally tell you to drive directly into a lake.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the uneven nature of what these systems can actually comprehend. In the research, they define this as the jagged frontier of AI capabilities.
The jagged frontier. So if we visualize a frontier wall representing competence, it isn't smooth.
Not at all.
It spikes incredibly high in specific domains. Like AI has total supremacy in parametric memory, processing speed, and, identifying microscopic patterns in massive data sets.
Absolutely. It dominates there.
But right next to those spikes are these deep valleys where the AI is practically useless.
Right. Yeah.
It lacks grounding in physical reality. It fails at judging subtle visual or image quality. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because a human boss might have biases and fatigue, but an AI completely lacks strategic intuition. It can't read a room or understand shifting cultural nuances.
Yeah, and has zero real empathy.
Exactly. And it certainly lacks the ethical judgment to know if a hyper-optimized logistical decision just, violated a major corporate governance policy. So the best results must come from hybrids, right? Humans directing while AI executes.
What's fascinating here is that when you map out the workflows of the most successful hybrid teams, that is precisely the architecture you see.
Agents coordinating the flow, humans doing the thinking.
Yes, agents are great at coordinating those complex flows and analyzing data at superhuman speeds. That frees humans up to focus entirely on creativity, strategy, and relationship building.
The peaks of our own jagged frontier.
Exactly. But stacking human strategy on top of AI execution requires the human to maintain strict supervisory dominance, and that is where the psychology of this relationship completely falls apart.
How so?
Well, think about how you naturally interact with a conversational agent. Do you occasionally type please or thank you?
Yeah, honestly, I don't want the robots to be mad at me when the uprising happens.
Right. We all do it. That politeness feels harmless, maybe even natural. But according to the behavioral studies in these reports, framing the AI as a human-like entity actively triggers a dangerous psychological trap.
Treating it as a coworker or a team member is bad.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon related to social loafing and automation bias. When humans start viewing an AI agent through an anthropomorphic lens when we assign it an identity, our brains unconsciously apply the same social heuristics we use with humans.
Oh, wow. So we assume it has common sense.
Yes. We assume the AI has a sense of responsibility and self-awareness, and consequently, we drop our supervisory guard.
We stop checking its work,
We stop checking the underlying math. We assume the employee has it covered.
which creates a massive structural liability when the AI crosses that jagged frontier from a peak of competence into a valley of hallucination. It leads to what we call the accountability vacuum. Like, let's say your autonomous agent is managing supply chain procurement.
Okay.
And because no one is rigorously auditing its logic, it places a highly expensive million-dollar order for the entirely wrong components based on a misread data trend.
Which happens.
Who observes that failure? You can't fire an algorithm.
Right.
You can't put an AI on a performance improvement plan.
Right.
The corporate liability structures we have today are just entirely unequipped for autonomous machine failures.
They really are. The accountability vacuum is causing severe legal and structural headaches for risk managers right now. But beyond the financial risks, there is a profound internal risk to the human workforce.
Which is?
Cognitive skill atrophy. If you're an intensive user of AI and you continually offload the heavy lifting of data synthesis and critical analysis to the machine, the neural pathways you use for complex problem solving begin to degrade.
It's like intellectual muscle atrophy.
Literally, yes.
It's the modern version of a generation losing the ability to navigate by a map because they outsourced their spatial awareness to a smartphone GPS.
That's a perfect analogy.
If a junior financial analyst stops building models from scratch, they never develop that intuitive gut-level sense of when a number simply looks wrong.
Exactly.
Combine that cognitive atrophy with the severe burnout of trying to mentally keep pace with an AI that generates 100 iterations a minute.
It's exhausting.
And you have a workforce that is highly productive on paper, but just intellectually hollowed out.
And we have to factor in the loss of humanity, the loss of social friction.
Right.
If your primary daily interaction is engineering prompts for an AI rather than debating concepts with a human colleague, you lose that unstructured information sharing.
The water cooler talk.
Yeah, the stuff that happens in the margins of a workplace. Less social interaction might spike raw productivity on paper for a quarter or two, but it reduces overall well-being and entirely kills long-term cross-disciplinary innovation.
That's such an irony. By treating a machine too much like a reliable human, we actually become significantly worse managers.
We really do.
If treating them like employees makes us drop the ball on oversight, how are we supposed to lead them?
Well, this is an issue of maturity and adoption. While almost every company is investing in AI right now, a McKinsey report notes that only about 1% of them have achieved real maturity in how they implement it.
Wait, only 1%?
Just 1%. The vast majority are struggling with issues like bias, privacy, and, the future of employment. They're basically just bolting these tools onto legacy workflows and hoping for the best.
Okay, so if 99% of companies haven't figured out how to safely manage AI without losing oversight or human well-being, we need to clearly define this new model of leadership for you, the listener.
Absolutely. AI is not replacing human bosses entirely. It is fundamentally redefining what leadership means.
So what does this all mean?
Well, it means the true winners of this productivity revolution will be those who become bosses of agents.
Bosses of agents.
Yes. This means becoming a human who orchestrates mixed teams. You maintain strict strategic control, and you cultivate exactly what the AI lacks.
Deep creativity, empathy, ethical vision.
Exactly.
It comes back to your daily life. Technology is not your enemy. It's your tool. If you see an AI agent popping up on your company's org chart, you shouldn't panic about your job.
No, not at all.
You should start learning how to be the manager who directs the machines. You tell it the what and the why, and you let the machine brute force the how.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, navigating this transition requires actively leading the transformation rather than resisting it.
Right.
Explosive productivity is already here, but human value remains entirely irreplaceable, but only if it is combined intelligently with AI.
Yeah, you have to own your peaks on that jagged frontier.
Exactly.
Let's quickly wrap this up. The takeaway from this deep dive is clear. The age of the tireless, 247 AI employee is here.
It's happening right now.
And it's bringing massive productivity gains, but also these unique pitfalls we talked about, the accountability vacuum, skill atrophy, and workplace isolation.
Yeah.
The goal for you is to step up to the jagged frontier and become the orchestrator of these super agents.
And as you look at your own workflow, I want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought to ponder.
Lay it on us.
We talked about how AI serves as this great equalizer that instantly boosts the performance of inexperienced workers by doing all the entry-level tasks for them, right?
Right, the novices get the biggest boost.
But if the machines do all the beginner work today, how will the next generation of human experts ever get the foundational practice they need?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If we fully automate the bottom rungs of the ladder, where do the strategic, empathetic human bosses of tomorrow actually come from?
That is a massive paradox to chew on. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the AI productivity revolution. Keep exploring, keep questioning the world around you, and we will catch you next time.